What started as a sitcom about a group of misfits at a community college became one of the most self-aware genre-defying series television has ever seen. Most shows follows a set rhythm, character growth with familiar arcs, the setting staying grounded, and the narrative rarely steps outside its lane. Community didn't just ignore those rules, it re-engineered them. It turned storytelling into a playground where every episode rewrote the manual on what sitcom could be. It didn't just flirt with the meta, it lived in it. Characters spoke as if they knew the script, plots twisted through pop culture homage, and genre shifted like personality traits. And yet through all the chaos, the series stayed grounded by one constant, a group of broken, widely different people trying to belong. The study group may have begun as a lie, but what it became was real, chaotic, loyal, sometimes cruel, but deeply honest. And at the heart of it all was Greendale, a school so strange and sincere, it stopped feeling like a backdrop and started to feel like home. A place where change happens all around it, but somehow it never quite touches it completely. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos after this one. And now, without further ado, let's explore Community. Chapter 1. TV that watches itself. How would you feel if you're actually a character in a movie or a television series? And what if your life had been written by a group of people in a writer's room purely for the entertainment of others? Any character that becomes aware they're part of a narrative is said to be breaking the fourth wall. This can be a tricky concept to execute. When done poorly, it risks collapsing the entire narrative, but when done well, it becomes one of the most thought-provoking techniques in storytelling. Community manages to strike that delicate balance. The characters, while not overly aware that they're in a television show, constantly brings an element that makes it feel like they're speaking directly to the audiences. This creates an interesting nuance that sets the show apart. At times it feels like we're watching events unfold from a completely different perspective. We become, in a way, one of the students at Greendale, observers of the drama within the study group, wishing we could be part of their world. And since we can't, we imagine the conversations they might be having behind the scenes. The study group is already chaotic and consistently breaks the traditional rules of meta storytelling, so it's not hard to picture ourselves as part of the study group. We're like an unseen member, always hoping for some form of recognition whenever the show fractures its meta narrative. In a way, we're not just watching a show that knows it's a show, we're interacting with it. Just like Abed, we don't just narrate the fiction, we help push the story forward. His commentary becomes our own, the writers let us sit at the table, even if you're not technically in the scene. Community mocks the conventional structures of a sitcom, while being one at the same time. In a sense, we become agents within the series, reporting back to the writers with their opinion. From that, they craft narratives that are often wild, deeply reflective, and rooted in the bizarre but heartfelt world of Greendale and its infamous study group. Chapter 2. Greendale is the main character. When it comes to figuring out who the main character of a narrative is, it doesn't necessarily have to be an actual human being portraying a character in the series. In Community, the main character of the series isn't Jeff, Abed, Britta, Annie, or even the Dean or Chang for that matter. It is in fact Greendale itself, the community college where the series takes place at. Greendale is an awfully unusual college/university by any standards. It's a place where classes that seems like fiction can exist, and both the staff and students are all misfits in their own way. It's a school where a war between pillows and blanket forts can occur, and where human resources hires a fraudulent teacher to teach Spanish. And that alone doesn't even begin to cover the oddities that takes place on campus. Some might argue that Greendale doesn't really matter, that the show is about the study group, and that has some truth to it. But if you think about it, without the school, there would be no study group. There wouldn't be a place where misfits can fit in and express themselves, where they can actually feel normal. It's a place where no one seems to want to leave, a place that draws people back in, even if they graduate, and offers them new opportunities. In fact, Greendale is much more than just a college. It's the epicenter of a community. It's a place where those who are lost in life, no matter their age, can find belonging and connect with people who understand them. And if you remove all the noise and chaos that occurs on campus, it kind of feels almost beautiful at times. Chapter 3. The study group has chosen chaos. What once started as a mere ploy for Jeff Winger to sleep with Britta Perry had created something truly special. There is no argument that the study group is chaotic in its nature. The diverse mix of personality has meant that things often get uncomfortable between them, and yet they're the found families they never had until they met one another. No matter what situation they're in, they always seem to orbit around each other. Whether it's everyone together or splinters of storyline featuring certain members, they are always connected. After their first encounter as a study group, something clicked, a sense that they had found the people they could share their deepest feelings with. while still being comfortable roasting each other when the moment called for it. It's about finding the right people at the right time, and the study group found that in each other. Even after graduation, they continued to see one another. Sure, some members left for their own reasons, but the concept of the study group stood strong, and when someone returned, they were welcomed with open arms, knowing that this was the kind of community that accepted people, no matter how messed up some actions had been. What made them special wasn't just that loyalty, it was their willingness to share the side of themselves they wouldn't show to anyone else. Yes, they allowed each other to spiral, to make extreme choices, to fall apart, but they also helped each other rebuild without any judgment. The chaos wasn't a flaw in their dynamics, it was the point. Every argument, near breakup, and absurd schemes was a pressure point that revealed something deeper about who they were. In a show that constantly asked what it means to be part of a community, the study group was the answer. A group of broken, mismatched people who accepted each other despite the flaws, betrayals, and madness. Not in spite of it, but because of it. That's the paradox of community. The chaos doesn't disrupt the connection, it forges it. Now, I've said this before that the study group couldn't have formed without Greendale, and even though that's true, but what they accomplished in the aftermath? Well, that's their own story. A study group that became something so much more than we once expected. Chapter 4. Genre as a personality trait. Genre should be constant when it comes to a television series. It helps viewers understand what they're getting into and decide whether they want to continue watching it. However, certain shows like Community completely subvert this idea. The series parodies and recreates familiar elements from pop culture, crafting a different kind of experience with each episode. Each episode of Community can be seen as a personality trait. While the characters in the setting of Greendale remain consistent, the events themselves become difficult to define. One week might take us on a fantasy adventure through a Dungeons and Dragons inspired episode, while another might throw us into a paintball war reminiscent of Western or Star Wars. The show constantly redefines itself. This fluidity allows the narrative to explore how these genres could help the study group uncover new truth about themselves, or spark deeper conversations about their personal struggles. These genre shifts acted like masks, tools to highlight different facets of the character's personality, and to bring therapeutic meaning to the show's chaotic storylines. When we look at our own lives, it's easy to connect with what the series is doing. Like the study group, our lives aren't perfect. We have our highs and lows, and we wear different masks to navigate the world around us. Each episode of Community becomes a reflection of who we are, people who adapt and evolve. The show visualizes this constant change, offering viewers a mirror of their own experiences. Chapter 5. Reality versus Absurdity. With a series that has its concept grounded in reality, a group of people attending a community college finding each other, and forms a study group that defines what it means to be a community. How could a concept like that take on such absurd events that it turns the series from something grounded into the realm of absurdity? I mean, the study group's chaotic nature isn't what's in question here, but rather the fact that the events that unfold throughout the series could only happen because it takes place at Greendale Community College. If it were set anywhere else, there's a fairly strong chance that none of these events would occur at all. From the campus-wide paintball game that transforms the entire school into a paintball war zone, to the storyline where Chang, a fake Spanish teacher fired, then enrolled into the same school, then hired as a security guard, replaces the dean with a fake one, and assumes a dictatorship role over the campus, these things just don't happen in a typical grounded storyline. And yet these are the very events that creates a connection to the series. It's the absurdity that builds an emotional bond with the audiences, and when we watch TV, most of us do so to escape from the real world. So when a series that starts with realism manages to pull viewers in with its kind of absurdity, it leaves behind a sense of fantasticalness that lingers. It might be subtle, but it's unmistakably there. That's why Community works. Yes, it's set in a grounded reality, but the events that unfold feels like something a child might imagine. Things that would never happen in real life, but at Greendale, they do. The ability to elevate our most playful, imaginative thoughts no matter how mature the subject matter might be, makes Community special. It's an escape into a world that doesn't take itself too seriously. Chapter 6. The Ending. Change is inevitable. Life is rarely as constant or comfortable as we like it to be, and sooner or later, we're forced to take the next step that pushes us out of that comfort. College, for instance, is a major life change that shapes you. Then just a few years later, graduation comes, and you're pushed out into the next phase in life. Greendale, however, has long defied the natural rhythm of change. It's a college where students seem to stay indefinitely, with the same familiar faces returning each year. It feels like a bubble, untouched by time. But as much as we might want to believe Greendale is immune to change, the truth is that change always finds a way in. Yes, Greendale's chaotic charm drew students and alumni back, offering a strange sense of safety. But often that desire to return is just a way to deny that moving on is necessary. Over time, characters like Pierce, Troy, Shirley, and even some faculty members have left. The group we once knew has shifted, and that's a reflection of real unavoidable change. For the study group, accepting this change has been difficult. Even when change seems to have occurred, they try to deny it as long as possible until they can, knowing more will come. Greendale itself has evolved. Once a dysfunctional mess of a school, it has started to rebuild. The study group, initially formed just to get through classes, found something deeper in their community. They launched a mission to repilot the school, transforming it into a place people actually want to attend. While Greendale's chaotic nature remains, it has improved because they made it so. But now that their goal is nearly complete, what's next? This leads to the real question. Does the school define the group, or did the group define what the school could be? Their bond was forged at Greendale, but maybe that bond is strong enough to exist beyond it. As we see potential glimpses of scenario into what their future might hold, we are reminded that Greendale and the study group means different things to different people. Still, maybe the next chapter isn't about holding on, it's about letting go and trusting the story to keep going, even off screen. And I mean, the hope for these characters to reunite isn't as wishful thinking as it might seem. There is even a line from the show, 6 Seasons and a Movie. It once started as a joke, but kind of became its own prophecy. We've had the 6 seasons, and now with the movie slowly on the way, it looks like the prophecy might actually happen. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon in the next review episode.